Community, beautiful people. Um, Sorry, my video is starting. Hopefully, it's working because I'm just going to start continuing. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Stupid computers, I swear. I don't know what I just turned off. Anyway, how are we all? I hope we are all walking into this new week refreshed after a nice weekend. I caught up with some family over the weekend for my nephew's birthday, and it's the first time, obviously, in a long time that we've been in a group more than me and my little family. So it was a very very interesting day. I was sort of only there for a few hours, but it actually talking to everyone there. And talking to clients and all that sort of stuff as well. I wanted to come on today because coming out of, in Melbourne, we've come out of 3 months of lockdown. And, even in our little family yesterday, they're having those conversations. There was a little bit of overwhelm coming up, and I thought it was really important for me to come on today to talk about our boundaries, our energetic boundaries. Now, coming out of lockdown, and we have Christmas. I know, don't shoot me. We have Christmas coming up. And even under normal circumstances, Christmas can be very overwhelming and stressed, and, it can cause all sorts of mental stress and physical stress and emotional, financial stress on all levels. So I wanted to come in here now while we're fresh out of lockdown, and we're just trying to navigate how to interact with the world again. Now I've sort of driven down, I'm in Mornington, driven down Main Street a few times over the weekends, and it is packed. Hi Carrie, good morning sweetheart, thanks for joining us. We're talking about personal boundaries today, and packed. So people are just, they're so thrilled to be out, which I totally get, even though I'm an introvert, and I'm like, no, I'm happy to stay in my house for the next 3 months as well, but by choice. So yes, I wanted to talk about coming out of lockdown, our personal boundaries with Christmas coming up, end of year. There's so much stuff going on end of year, and at the best of times it can get on top of us. So I'm coming in today to kind of share some stuff for you to be aware of, because we also have to remember that we are 100% responsible for our choices, what we say yes to, what we say no to, and how we interact with the world. So before we go into Christmas and all that sort of stuff, it's really important for you to figure out what the hell are your personal boundaries. And they may have changed because of what we've come through, because of the last 18 months. Priorities have changed, our values have changed. So take the time while you have it to sit down and actually figure out what your boundaries are, and start to kind of make a bit of a list or a bit of a schedule as to how you're going to deal with, the rest of this year and school holidays and all that sort of stuff. Because having these, when you know what your personal boundaries are, you know what when your self-care is being lax, when you're looking after yourself, you're aware of when you're burnt out and you just need to go, I need a day off. So when we are self-aware, we can then take care of ourselves. So I have this beautiful little diagram of this circle. It's self-care, self-aware, and it's this not vicious, but it's an awesome circle. When we're self-aware, listening to our bodies, we can tune in as to what is best for us. And this is one of the points that I want to bring up, is that when you're sitting there asking yourself, All right, so here's some questions. Let's go. Some questions to ask yourself to identify your boundaries. What is most important to you about Christmas? When you think of Christmas, how do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? Like, what is Christmas to you? Figure that out. Because then you've got a standing point to kind of go, oh, well, if I add this, that's going to really ricochet that out and I'm going to just have a stressful, horrible time. So what is Christmas all about for you? What makes you feel happy and connected during this time? What makes you stressed or anxious during this time? Anytime really, but I really want to start to talk about the end of this year coming up. What can you tolerate and what are you going to accept? And this is on all levels. This is on people's behaviours, your own behaviours, work commitments, personal commitments, kids, family commitments, all that sort of stuff. I want you to really figure out, because Christmas is, for me, it is a joyous, it's a beautiful, relaxing time. And so when I have that in mind, I can then determine whether, is this feeling my joyous, relaxing time? Or am I going into chaos? And I'll freak out and shut myself off from the world for a week. Which I've been known to do. So it's about you. It's about tuning into you and your needs. But if you've got your family as well, if you've got kids or a partner or whatever, they obviously come into, your equation as well because they're part of your experience. So have a think. Even sit down all together and nut this out so that you've all got each other's backs. This is where communication is fabulous. Everyone knows what's going on. Everyone knows what their expectations are. So there's no, you're supposed to read my mind and do the dishes every night or cook dinner or whatever. We want things to run smoothly. We want the joyous. We want the happy. We want the peace and relaxed. We want the love. So sit down with them. Start talking about this sort of stuff. What is most important to your partner and children at this time of year? So have a discussion about what their expectations are for Christmas and holidays, and talk about what your expectations are for them. Obviously, they're on holidays, they want to have fun and whatever. But it's not your job to be their maid and clean up and cook and all that sort of stuff, because we want everyone to have a good time. Yeah? Talk about what makes them feel happy and connected, and work towards that. Ask them what makes them stressed. Now, if you've got young kids, they probably have no idea. So, you and your partner can sit down and just go, okay, well, in the past, this is what's made them stressed. Because we've had to run out the door really quickly and you didn't tell them. So, if you've got a busy day ahead, sit down with your kids, even if they're young, and just let them know what the day is going to unfold for them so that they're kind of mentally prepared a bit as well. I'm not saying that if you do this, you're not going to get any tanties. I'll just put that in there. You may not. I don't know. All I know is that, when I started doing it, when I saw my sister do it, her son thrived on knowing exactly what was expected of him from a very young age. He really responded well to all that. And to have cues, 5 minutes, guys, and we've got to go and do X, Y, Z. Just let them know so that they're not ripped away from what they're doing and they're like, right? No one likes to do that. No one likes to be ripped away from, focused activity or whatever. What else have we got here? I also want everyone to know, and everyone knows this too, but it's just an important reminder that it is not up to you to make anyone else have a happy and joyous time. We are not responsible for how other people interact with their own world. They might get disappointed if you're not meeting their expectations of you. So this is where you've got to be really clear. And one of the things when I was sitting, talking or thinking about this kind of stuff, even if, you know, you send out a blanket email or text message or something now and just give everyone the heads up. Something really simple like, you know, I know we're out of lockdown and I know that the next couple of months is going to be really busy. You know, I'm going to do my best to try and catch up with everyone. I'm still feeling a little overwhelmed, whatever. Or if you wanted to, you know, maybe answer the text messages as they come in. But it's really important for you to have that nice communication with them, anyone who is inviting you to whatever. For you not to lock yourself in, because that's when it's just like, oh, I've committed to this, I've got to live, you know, it's my integrity at stake and don't want to disappoint XYZ, rah, 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 rah. So if you know that you've got a lot of stuff coming up, work gigs, family gigs, friend gigs, you know, neighbor parties, anything like that, I really want you to give yourself permission to not turn up, or you can turn up but feel okay to leave early if you need to. And again, it's about having a conversation with someone and going, look, I've got a really busy week. I really want to see you, so I'm going to turn up, but I have to leave by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever. You make up the rules. And again, you know, if you get to the party and it's 2 hours in, you go, it's too much, I need to go home. Give yourself permission to do that, yeah? Because this is about you looking after yourself. When we put ourselves in horrible situations where we're stressed, we're anxious, full of tension, full of anxiety, you know, it does terrible things to our nervous system and everything else on top of that. It's a massive domino effect. And especially this time of year, we really need to look after ourselves. So know what your personal boundaries are. Tune into your body. Your body will tell you, get the hell out. Or, no, I just don't like this conversation, so I'm going to talk to these guys over here. Right? We need to look after ourselves. After being insulated for such a long period of time, and I think most of us have kind of come out of that more in tune with ourselves. I had a client who was saying she would have a party or a get-together pretty much every single weekend, and she loved it. She loved organising it. She loved hosting it. She loved putting on the big hurrah. And I think it was the first lockdown or the lockdown at the beginning of the year. And she said to me, you know, and we couldn't have anyone over. She goes, do you know what? I loved not having anyone over. Just spending time with the kids, time with my partner, time in the garden. It was really, really interesting because she goes, and I thought that I just really loved having all these parties and socializing and all that sort of stuff. But then when she wasn't able to do that, and she, you know, she looked after herself and just, she goes, my God, I loved that as well. So her values, her the way that she functioned totally changed. She still has a few gatherings, but not every single weekend. Because one, even though you love it, and this is like anything, even if you love, you know, putting on these big parties and all that sort of stuff, it still does create some stress in the body. And again, it can, you know, affect your immune system and quality of sleep and all that sort of stuff when you've got your head going all the time. You're like, have I done this? Have I done this? Is that covered? Your mind's going all the time. It's like, shh. Let's just be. So it was really, really interesting for her to have that awareness. She was given the space to go, oh, I love this too. So she was able to create better boundaries for the kids and her partner as well, because they were then able to spend quality time with her and have that beautiful connection. Yeah, so I've talked about if you get invited to a party and if you say, just kind of have some excuses ready to go, even if it's, I've promised myself that I'm going to spend time with the family, so I'm only going to go to 2 parties a month, 2 parties over the weekends. So you've got 4 weekends in a month per se. So have 2 weekends where you go out and socialise, because we do need to recharge. We do need to just stop and be as well. So put some boundaries in place for those as well. And if people are gonna crack the shits, do you want to be around those people? Really? I had a girlfriend of mine who the first week out of lockdown, her friend said, "My God, I'm having a party, blah, 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 blah. You've got to come. My girlfriend had kind of struggled quite a lot through lockdown, and this friend of hers had not really touched base with her. Anyway, my friend said, "Look, I'm actually heading away for the weekend just for myself. I'm really overwhelmed. I didn't cope with lockdown. To be around that many people just kind of, my anxiety goes through the roof." And the response from her friend was just horrible. I really felt for my friend, because she's like, "You're so selfish. This is my birthday, blah, 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 blah." So it was all about her. She didn't actually hear what my friend said at all. So there was no empathy or compassion. It was just like, "You're being a bitch. You're not coming to my party." So, just understand that when you get responses like that, that's their shit. That's not yours. So you've got to check in with yourself and just go, is this worth going to? Is it going to drain my energy? Is it going to eat into my own self-care time? All those sort of stuff. And you've got to do what is right for you. And, as I said, sit down and write yourself what priorities are going to come in what order. Be really clear and with empathy and compassion about saying no to events that you don't want to go to, and really just suss it out, even if you have to sit with your partner and go, okay, well, this is what we've got, which ones do we want to go to? So have a think about which parties or social events, which ones are going to drain you, because you kind of don't want to go to those ones. And if there's a couple of people there that you want to catch up with, send them a text and go, "I can't make this, but I'd love to catch up with for coffee, or, come around for dinner or whatever." Just have that one-on-one time with those specific people. You don't have to go to a whole party to catch up with 2 people or 3 people that you like in a whole big room of people that are like, going to drag you down and drain your energy, and you're not going to enjoy that at all. In saying that, if there's some reason you have to go to a party or something like that, just minimize your time there. Take your own car so that you can leave whenever you want to. If you end up having a good time and having a few drinks, you can catch an Uber home, you can catch a taxi home. There are ways around it, but just keep checking in with yourself all throughout the night. Yeah, you might get there and 15 minutes later go, "Ooh, what have I done?" And just politely excuse yourself, or do what I do and just sneak out and text the person afterwards, "Sorry, I had to go." You do not have to justify yourself, right? You have to just take care of yourself to survive this whole, all this stuff. It feels like it's just magnified because we've come out of lockdown. So all the extroverts are like, we need as many people as possible. Whereas the introverts are still, that's too much. So really tune into the self, please, please, please. Say no to invitations that aren't important, or if they're with people who drain your energy, like I said. The other thing you need to take awareness of is the responsibilities that you are going to take on for Christmas or the holidays or whatever. Just because the kids are on holidays, I know that many people still work. So, sit down as a family and try and organise what it's going to look like. If you've got to organise babysitters or grandparents or daycare or whatever it is, set some time up so you as a family can organise, and that way everyone has an input, everyone can own it, everyone knows what's going to happen, and that just sort of takes some of that stress away, because you're kind of gone, okay, we've got that stuff in place. Whereas rather than waking up at the beginning of the week going, oh shit, what about XYZ? Or a kid comes up and goes, oh, I've got to do this or whatever. So there's no surprises. Everyone knows what's going on to an extent. Obviously, you've got to be flexible because stuff does come up. So be okay with that as well. What does your Christmas day look like? So many families have got, so many people to run to, so many houses. They have like 4 Christmas meals in one day, and I think, wow, that's crazy. And for many, many years, I actually hosted Christmas at my house. One, so that the kids could stay, they could play with the toys that they've been given on the Christmas, and we could just, we were in our own space. I'd ask everyone to bring something, and it was a beautiful way for everyone to pitch in. Everyone would help. And it was, you had that connecting element in there as well. So have a think about what your Christmas day looks like, and not just for you, but what do the kids want? You might just need to go, I can't do you, we'll do you next year. Take it in turns with family members, or say, okay, we'll go here for, try and reduce the amount of time you're on the road, basically, because you want to be able to relax and be in one space and enjoy everyone. And again, this comes down to whether you're going to be a people pleaser or not. We have to go here because otherwise they're going to crack the shits. But is it the best thing for your family? Because if you go back to what is Christmas for you, what is Christmas for your family, what does that mean? If you're going to 20 different places, are your needs being met? Or are your boundaries being bulldozed because you're trying to make everyone happy? And who can enjoy 4 Christmas meals? I mean, that's a lot of food. So try and see if you can pan it out over. And people should be more understanding. And if they're not, then, sorry. But yes, there's so many different family events to go to. Ours is actually starting at the beginning of December, where I'm going to my dad's place. Talking to my family members yesterday, they're like, oh, I don't even want to go anywhere. I just want to have us and the family, their children, have Christmas, just relax. And do you know what? That sounds amazing. Again, you've got to do what's best for the family. You want it to be joyous. You want everyone to be, happy or have a good time. If you don't want to go, or if you can't make a Christmas date, organise another time to catch up. Let's have dinner at a restaurant, the weekend after or the weekend before or whatever. What is the meaning for Christmas to you? Is it the connection? If it's connection, it doesn't have to be on Christmas Day. It can be whenever. Give yourself permission to create new rules. It's a perfect year to go, I know that we've done this in the past, but it's too much. We're going to do this. Let's create a new pattern. Let's create a new thing so that we're all relaxed. We're all having a great time. We're not running, stressed. We don't want that. If you've got, as I said before, if you're hosting Christmas, get people to help. It shouldn't be up to one person to create this amazing event. Again, it's community, it's connection. Everyone, bringing in something. Get someone on dessert, get someone on salads, get someone on meats, get someone on, snacks. Get everyone involved. Ask for help. You don't want to be the one stuck in the kitchen. I just remember my Christmases as a child that my mum was so stressed. Oh my God, the backyard's not swept or the weeds aren't done. Like, massive. And you just think, oh my God, how could she be having a good time? Hot one, cold stuff, hot stuff. She's in the kitchen ranting and raving, and you just think, ugh. So you don't want that. Don't feel like you need to cook everything from scratch. Get in a cooked chook or 3. Like, reduce the stress. Reduce the stress, whatever that means for you. Our well-being. We have to make sure as well that all of our needs are being met. We don't want to be working until, obviously the end of the year. There's lots of people wanting deadlines. It's got to be done by the end of the year. It's got to be done by the end of the year. Do what you can with what you can. You don't want to be working 20 hours a day for Christmas to come and go, I'm exhausted. So again, do what you paid for. Nominate one day. Have one day at home each weekend throughout December. So if you've got a function to go to Friday night, make sure you don't do anything on Saturday, right? So pop those days off in your calendar. No, nothing's happening. We need to recover from late nights, from overeating, over drinking, over socializing. Give yourself one day on the weekend to not do anything. It's a bit of a challenge, especially if you are very social. My brother and sister-in-law were saying yesterday that they've got something every single weekend. And I went, oh my God. Like, it's such a change from having nothing to now having a full schedule. So, I just said to her, well, just do what you feel is going to bring you joy. Don't feel like you have to people please. Do it for yourself and your family, not because of other people's expectations. Yeah? And if you've got the right friends, if you're hanging out with the right crew, then they'll get it. Yeah? They should love you anyway. And as I said, organise another time if you want to catch up. Just go, let's do coffee one-on-one, make a day. Keep getting some exercise in there. Take a walk around, even if it's just around the small block after dinner. Just get some movement in there happening. It's just very good for the nervous system. It allows your brain to kind of stop and just detox the day. If you drink, give yourself a limit. Have boundaries on that as well. Have 2 drinks or drink low alcohol stuff. Or have water after every single alcoholic beverage that you have. Or, there might be one that you're just going to go, I'm going to go nuts at this party, and go nuts if you want to. But yeah, have some boundaries on there. Stick to them, because it can be, if you're doing big night, again, stress on the body, bad sleep, your body's working hard to get rid of all those toxins. And it's just, we want a smooth December. I have of late, before I eat anything, or I quite often visit the cupboard, visit the fridge, and I'll stand there and I'll go, am I actually hungry? So even though there's snacks being taken around, or meals, or, you know, desserts, all that sort of stuff, just sit with it and just go, am I hungry? Or, you know, just because you've got a plate of food, you don't have to eat all of it. Gone are the days where food was scarce and, you know, it's like, eat everything on your dinner and can't, you know, all that sort of stuff. We're getting rid of that mindset. So just put little bits on your plate. You can always go back for seconds or always go back for thirds, but check in with the body. The body will go, I've had enough, or yes, I would like some more. What else? Christmas food. Yes. Okay. So yes, the main thing, we want to avoid overwhelm. We want to avoid feeling burnt out, feeling frustrated, feeling, you know, the overwhelming anxiety, all that sort of stuff. When we push ourselves and we're burning the candle at both ends, obviously our responses can be quite knee-jerk. We don't have that buffer of, you know, that nice well-rested buffer. If something happens and you're fully tense and stressed, you're going to just lash out and go, no, or the kids will drive you mad and you'll snap or whatever. So sleep. Make sure you're sleeping well. Make sure you're eating well. So on those days off or when you're eating at home, you know, keep up with the green leafy vegetables. Stay hydrated. This has been a massive message for me in the last week and a half. Stay hydrated. And also coming into summer as well, it's going to be hot. But yes, stay hydrated. So what I want you to do is those questions. What does Christmas mean for you? What are your expectations for yourself, for your family? Are they realistic? You may have done them last year or for 10 years, but where you are right now, when you're thinking about what your responsibilities are, what you're taking on, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel, oh my God, that's so much, I don't even know where to start? Again, your body wisdom, that'll tell you. It'll go, oh, or it'll go, that's cool, I can do that. And if you've got fabulous family, you can delegate. This is what I want done. Okay, you're in charge of this. You're in charge of this. You're in charge of this. Check in with the body. Is it doable? Is it realistic? Have a message or a few different messages ready to go if you get invited to something and you maybe don't want to go, or, you know, put a time limit on. I really want to see you. I really want to catch up. I do have to leave. I can only be there for an hour, or I will pop in. I can only be there for, 2 hours. Take your own car so that you can go whenever you need to. You're not stuck there. Excuse me. Be mindful of what responsibilities you take on. And again, if other people are not happy with you meeting their expectations, that's on them. Check in with yourself, your family, what is best for you and your family. Make sure you're sleeping well. Make sure your diet is really good and keep your water up. Again, if there's a lot going on, if you need to journal or if you need to talk to a counselor or whatever, just to, get it out of your system and shared with someone else that can maybe give you some insight onto how to handle those sort of things, do that as well. Organise your own small gatherings. If there are some people that you want to catch up with, organise a gathering at the park. Or have a small get-together at your house. or go to a restaurant with people. That way you get to catch up with the people that you want to, that they're not going to drain your energy. They're good for your soul. They're good for your heart. They're good for your head. You're in control. Yeah. If you are organizing something, if you find yourself getting stressed, stop. See what you can delegate. Rethink what you're organizing. How can you make it more simple? How can you make it more fun? What expectations have you put on yourself that is causing this stress? Again, you're not here to people please. We must do things for our highest good and the highest good of our family. Bringing it back to, what does this season mean for you? What do you want for this season? So finally, it's taking care of your emotional responsibilities, behavioral responsibilities, your time, also your financial. Thank you, Kerry. Your financial responsibilities. Nut it out. Seriously, folks, then markets. Shop local. We've got amazing people in this wellness community that have products, services. Look at things that, like massages or healings or readings or essential oil products, jewelry, shop local. These are the people that, that are local to you. You don't have to worry about postage, which is, going crazy at the moment. People are waiting like months for stuff to arrive. Go to the local markets, get online, get onto the buy, swap and sell groups in your local area. Buy some beautiful, meaningful stuff. Usually made with people that have got a passion for what they want, so it's going to be full of love, not some manufactured bloody blah. And keep within your budget. Yeah. Even if there's something and it only costs $2, but it's amazing. It's what you've been called to buy for this certain person. Look at things like Secret Santas. So if you've got a whole family coming together, organize it. Okay, everyone, we're just going to buy for the kids. Secret Santa, $50 limit, $20 limit, whatever you like. Just be mindful of where you're spending your time, where you're spending your money, where you're spending your, the people you're hanging out with, and looking after your emotional needs as well. So when you're checking in, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stop and rethink things. It's okay to cancel. Give yourself permission to cancel. Give yourself permission to bow out. People are still struggling. People are still feeling very overwhelmed about entering the world. So if someone's said yes to come into your party and then at the last minute they don't come, give them grace, compassion and empathy. Just understand that people are still struggling. You might be struggling, other people might be struggling. So again, this is all about love. It's all about relaxation. We want the best for everyone. Treating people with kindness. But start now so that you don't get overwhelmed. So December doesn't hit and you go, holy shit, I've got so much to do. Start talking about this sort of stuff with your family now. What your expectations are. What's realistic and what is not. And if someone says to you, well, that's not realistic, I don't want to do that. Don't take it personally. That's just their point of view. Take it on, talk about it, compromise. If we start now, we should, it should be a nice, joyous ride on the lagoon rather than a surf beach and get crashed and tumbled around with sand in your bathers. So, yes, your personal energy, very, very important. And this will make or break what your holiday season is going to be, whether it's going to be amazing, joyous, smooth, flowing, or whether you're going to be stressed, uptight, yelly, which one do you want? Start thinking about it now If anyone has any other ideas, if anyone does something that just helps make this season smooth, share it with us. We're always, always, always love ideas, because I've only just mentioned a few that I just kind of jotted down over the, last 24 hours. So I'm sure I missed stuff. Share your knowledge, share your wisdom with us. What do you do to make sure that you have an amazing Christmas, an amazing December, summer holidays? Share it with us. I'd love for everyone just to, put in their 5 cents worth. So a little bit of insight. I'm going to go now because I have spoken for 40 minutes. I might even just add a little point list of things to, be aware of. But it is, again, your own personal energy is keep checking in with yourself, feeling whether you're open and expanded and it's lovely, or whether it's starting to just contract and feel overwhelmed, feeling tense, feeling like you can't handle the next step. And we don't want you to get there. But if you do, we're here for you. Please remember that. We want the best for everyone. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you in the group. All right, lovelies. Bye for now.